Cool. So, hello everybody. I'm Will. I am a student engagement assistant here on campus, which means I help y'all with everything from like posters to videos to just general questions about forums and such. I'm also the PAC chair, so I plan events on campus, such as Spring Weekend, which is coming April 13th. And I also sing in a group, so yes.
I'm Ariana. I'm also a C. I'm the president of Bach, so I plan all Bach movies and things. And I'm also in chorale on campus.
Hi guys, my name is Darshil. I'm also a C. I'm currently a senior and not involved in much on campus right now. Gotta concentrate on my own stuff, but I hope you all enjoy this presentation.
And with Karen in the back, Karen's also
She's recording everything.
she's new, brand new to the family.
Yeah, she's a new C.
So, biggest thing, right now to stress is that event forms are a little different. You have to have them approved by a student engagement assistant, either any 4 of us in the room or any of the other 3. They're also teaching some sessions and kind of working around. We can be found in the Club Hub. For those who went abroad, that is the former SGA room. So it's in Balfour, and we have hours from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily.
So, the main components of when you're planning an event, what should include, the most important things are date, time, and location. Those are probably like the most important things. And then like add-ons, do you want to have any decorations? Do you want to have food? Are you going to show a movie and do you need to buy the rights for the movie? And have you taken steps to prevent microaggressions, which we'll get to a little bit later.
And more on all of this shortly. So crowd managers, people might not know that they're necessary for a lot of the larger scale events. For instance, the Halloween dance that PAC has every Halloween, we have a few crowd managers. I think it's like 5 or 6. The cost is like about per every few guards. I think on the low end, like 2 would be about 300, and then for like 5, 6, 7, you're looking a little over 1,000. So that's not too terrible. Crowd managers serve as people to help check, IDs if that's necessary, wristbands, making sure that nobody's bringing any weapons in. We say no masks at the dances, so they make sure they keep the peace. It's like public safety, but we have to pay them. We have to pay them too. And this is kind of like what they do, but also don't do. Because that would really suck and ruin your day. You got tackled.
One of the biggest and most important ways in which we plan an event is to figure out a target audience. We have a very large campus. We have a lot of different kinds of people, but not every event is for everyone. So just so that your event actually reaches the people whom you want to reach, I think it's very important for you all to plan for it and have like a target audience and make sure that all your strategies, all your marketing, everything is to target that set of people, or like that set of groups on campus, and just identifying that towards the early stages of planning your event is very important, and then going and pursuing that. An example for that would be during the Diwali event. What we did was we used to go to classes where they taught religion, and because this was a religious event, it was very easy for us to target that group, and then we had strategies to ask professors to make it a credit event, give them extra credit for the event and stuff, and that drove up the numbers in our event, and all in all, it led to the success of the event.
Room reservation form. So for those people who haven't filled out an event form, they can be found on the Wheaton College website. If you go to Office and Services, Campus Events, and Event Form Reservation, a lot of the information that we will be talking about can actually be found under Event Planning Tools or the Event Planning Guide and Policies. So this is just the first page. There's like 4 or 5 different other pages, but I have a picture of one, that the next kind of step in the form. And then sponsoring organization department, that's either a number or just the club name. So you can do either one for that. This is the location area. Location is very important because it also helps to determine the successfulness of an event. The space is too small, you can't hold a large number of people if you have more than expected. You also, it gives you some choices, which is nice. You're required to have like one main choice, but you should definitely fill out a second location and a ring location. The additional rooms, which are good because if you want to reserve, let's say, the Balfour Atrium, but also the 1960s and the new Yellow Parlor, you'll list those down there, and those will be reserved as well. Ring location is important for outside events, but also could be useful for indoor events as well. So let's say Bach is having an outdoor movie screening, and they have, the Dimple as their first choice. Yes, you can reserve the Dimple, fun fact. And then they put in their ring location Hindle, and maybe PAC has an event, location is Hindle, and we have a second location as Ellison Lecture. We'll probably be bumped to Ellison Lecture, seeing as there's not another space that Bach could use to show their movie. So it's just to make sure whoever needs the space can have a space to use.
I would also like to note that, like, when you're reserving any event for anything, even if it's like in the Dimple, even if you're like tabling, you have to reserve a table. Like, you have to reserve any place, any space on campus, even if it's outside, no matter where, you have to reserve it.
There are a lot of spaces, and on the event planning website, you can see the availability grid, which is really useful.
It's a link right there. It's really helpful, so because if you want to see like if something's booked at a certain time on a certain day, you can look and see ahead of time.
Oh, yes.
Where do we find the Balfour Dance Studio in the availability grid?
Dance Studio is not booked through this. It's booked through Julie Searles.
Yeah, that's the only space that you can't find on.
There's like a handful of spaces you really can't reserve, but because it goes through different departments. So that's an excellent question. Yes.
Is there like a list somewhere of places that you can't reserve? How do you find those out?
I think on the space availability grid, it'll show you which rooms can be reserved. I think it has a general comment. You might have to go through somebody. I can double check that. We can double check that for you after to the website.
They also have layouts of all the rooms and stuff if you want to check that out. They have capacities and they have everything on the website.
Yeah, this is really helpful because, like, say you are having an event in Chapel Basement, and you want to have like chairs set up and rollers, you can request that on the phone.
Yeah,
So,
this is
like,
just the really beginning few pieces of the event for me. Hey, it's Donnie. Everybody. Hi, Donnie.
Hi.
He's our boss. And this is Marcel. She's another seat. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome. Additional considerations. These should be thought of for every event that you possibly could. So accessibility needs, is the space accessible? Are there elevators? Are there ramps? Are there are there flashing lights? Just things to consider so that everybody can feel like they're included. More on that a little later. Can the space accommodate extra people? Sometimes you'll find an event gets more people than you think. So making sure you have that extra space or extra chairs, extra tables. Make sure people don't have to stand. And then are there tables and chairs in the space so you don't have to request them. And then that's to all of you who think of these things.
Filling out forms. So our role as a C is to be a part of your planning process, to be as big of a help as we can, which is why we are available 10 to 6 every day. And a few things that we have done to make life easy for you all is we have the marketing and poster request form. Basically, any one of your clubs, if you all want to, if you all don't want to create a poster, and if you all can outsource that to us, you all can just fill this form almost 3 days in advance, and one of us will get back to you with a sample poster depending on what you all have requested. And if you all like it, then we can just get that printed. You all can pick it up from us and then go on campus and put it on. This form is on Engage, so we can make the posters for you all, so you all don't have to go through that entire process.
Is that a service that's free?
Yeah, that's it's all on us. Yeah. it's all by sale. Then there is the evaluation form. This one's more about feedback after after you have finished your entire event. I think this form basically just helps you all reflect, and at the same time helps us see what we could do to be better and how we could make this event even larger next year, or like longevity in general. And that's why I think feedback is very necessary, which is why this form is also a very important form that I think you all should know about. And the third one is the sale equipment form. This is also on Engage on the homepage itself. The sale equipment form, we have a lot of equipment in sale, like the credit card machine, all of that can be rented. When I say rented, it is not chargeable, it is free, but it has to be booked because so many people will be wanting those machines at the same time, and if you don't book it in advance, you may not get it. So you could just fill this form, which is on Engage, and you can get access to all the machinery that we have, all the machines and stuff that we have at sale, and at your own disposal, and then just turn it around.
And our marketing form and poster form isn't just limited to posters. We had actually one request for a video to be made. So thinking about different ways to market your events, you can fill that out and get our input.
Accessibility needs. This is one of the most important things that we tend to sometimes give a blind eye to. Not only y'all, I think even I'm to blame for this, because during the Diwali event as well, I never really paid a lot of attention to this. But this is basically just looking at, just making sure that if you choose a location that is accessible by the wheelchair or something, having like a small phrase on the poster or your marketing materials or your email saying that this is a wheelchair accessible event, or like having a wheelchair icon on your poster, just to let everyone know that you are welcome, you can come to the event and you all can be a part of it. And I think that would just drive up your numbers in the first place, but at the same time be very inclusive. So it's a good thing to kind of think about when you're planning your event. The third thing is, this has all been about inclusion. Third thing is about just micro inclusion, but the small things, the small steps that you all take to make sure that you all include everyone. I think one of the best ways of doing that is if you have food in your event. Just knowing, being mindful of the certain allergies that people may have, and knowing what's in the food, knowing the ingredients of the food, so that if someone comes and questions you about it, you know exactly what's in it. Being mindful of all the common allergies, and making sure that you all have labeling for all the types of food, so that they don't have to keep looking for you all, and it's all there, and they can just like walk through, read, and then eat it. I think that's a very important way to set up your event, and I say it just shows that that you really care about everyone who's coming to the event, and you really care about your surroundings, and I think it sends out a very positive message.
And even the types of spread of food you have. So maybe having some food that has no dairy in it for lactose intolerant folks, or having vegetarian, vegan options, not just all meat or all protein. So more stuff to keep in mind. I'm going to talk pretty briefly about quotes and vendors, just because it's not super important. It's pretty nice for like bigger events. So it goes from novelties to food to like make your own stuff. Everybody loves free stuff, and that's kind of what the vendors are around for. You just they're pretty expensive. So I have a example quote that I got from, I believe this was Party Visions. And this is something I requested for event last semester, but we didn't end up getting. So I put in the event details. So it would have been for December 10th. It would have been about a 4-hour event. They would provide us with about 200 pieces for this particular novelty. Sometimes they do it like by hour. Sometimes they do it by quantity. And then they gave me a price estimate. I requested 4 other items, which is why that says 4,000. So it kind of doesn't reflect it. And some different like vendor options. These are a little bit more expensive, at least the novelty ones. So Party Vision, Neon, and Fun, they all range in prices. I think some of them, in the thousands, some of them in the hundreds. So just to keep that in mind for the type of event you want to do. And Transit, if you're planning a trip or planning an excursion off campus, getting in contact with Bloom, DATCO, or US Coachways. They have varying types of buses, so coach or school bus, and they vary in price, I guess, between how if you need them. Any questions so far?
So film rights. One thing that's new this year is that any club showing any film on campus has to buy rights. It's just like you have to no matter what, just on campus. So the two main places to get film rights are Swank and Criterion. Swank has like a lot of the big movies like Disney, Marvel, things like that. And most often movies that you can find on Swank, you can find on Criterion. They have we did Love, Simon last semester. They have Love, Simon, Deadpool, Greatest Showman, Bohemian Rhapsody, things like that. They have a lot of the movies nominated for Oscars right now. So I'll just show you for Swank. If you just go up to search, you have to select college campus, and then just type in, let's do Groundhog Day, because we're doing that next week. And then you click on the movie, if it's there. If it's not there, it just means they don't have it. And you just request a quote, and then you fill in all your information, and then they get back to you, they email you. And the same with Criterion, like for example, or just search Bohemian Rhapsody. And then you just click on it, and it's the same process. You just request a quote, you fill in all the information, and it's this one. And there's if you want to do a more obscure movie, or if you want to do an anime or things like that, there's other there's other places that you can get rights from that we don't use as much. But if you are ever wondering about movie rights, or you really want to show this one movie you can't find it anywhere, or something, just if you want to meet with me or something, I can help you because I've found other for other places and things like that. But these are the two main ones. So the two main websites that are really important are Swank.com and Criterion KQSA. If you just type in Criterion, it just takes you to one page that has they have a Criterion collection, which are certain movies that they choose to be in a special collection. So it won't show you all the options. So you might think they don't have it.
To clarify the film screening, it's mostly a big event on campus. If it's a house party, or if it's in your dorm room or whatever.
Yeah, if it's smaller, it's fine. But if you're showing it to the campus, you have to buy rights. And then creating a timeline. So the most important thing for an event is time and date. You have to pick those first. And then setting a deadline for reservations. If you're doing an event off campus and you need a bus, so you need to plan when you're gonna have the bus registered by, reserved. Food orders, if you're ordering from Aramark or from anywhere else, when are you going to get the food by? Decorations and supplies, are you going to order decorations for the event? And it's typically a good rule of thumb to have 2 weeks before the event, check in and make sure that everything's been planned, because then you have a good amount of time to still work on anything that you haven't done, and then make a plan to complete any tasks you have.
I'll go over more in depth about planning, more in advance. So that's just getting a timeline in place is a really good first start.
One of the things that we tried during the Diwali event was we created a lot of committees and we divided a lot of tasks. I think dividing and conquering is one of the best ways of going about making a large event successful. What we did was we had different committees. That there was one committee that was looking to take care of only finances. There was one small committee that was looking after only food. There was another small committee that was looking after all the entertainment that was going to go on. There was one committee that was looking at marketing and outreach, all the posters and everything. I think this is very important because usually what happens is a small number of people in the exec board are the ones who are doing everything. And by this way, you're also increasing the involvement. At the same time, you are delegating the work in such a way that there's not a lot coming on just your head. And it just gives you a lot of free time for all the other things, and you can also actually enjoy the planning process. At the same time, it is very important to, what we used to do, another example that what we did was we all used to come back together almost once or twice a week, once a week or once in 2 weeks, and we used to discuss all the progress that we have made, and then we used to go back, discuss ideas, about what we're doing in our committee and then go back and do our own things again and come back. I think that in general makes life a lot easier when planning events. So I think we could take that as an example, and it's like, you know, you could use something similar to this in your events going forward. The other thing is announcements. We're going to have a Providence Bruins trip soon, and just using your platform, just like the way I did right now, as like I'm using this platform to kind of let you all know that there is another, like putting in a plug for another event. I think you can use announcements really effectively for all your future events because you've already created a space where everyone's come to one of your events. Using that space is very important for you to put in the plug for all the other events. You can also incentivize that even further by, if it's a paid event, then you can offer certain discounts to them, to everyone who's come to that present event. And that would just drive up your numbers and at the same time also keep everyone really engaged. So I think that's why using that platform is really important.
So advertising. Advertising is really important because that's how you get people to come to your events. The main thing is to put things on Engage. That's like the most important thing. Like if you don't put it anywhere else, you don't do anything else, Engage is really important because then it goes to the chalkboard at Chase, goes to the chalkboard at Balfour, the weekly calendar, the app, all different like weekly type things. So it goes to all these different platforms, and all you have to do is post it on the page, which will capture it. And then posters. Canva is a website that's really helpful with making posters. If you want to like make like a semester-long poster like Bob does, or like a poster for each event, it's really helpful. And even if you don't really have much experience with like advertising or making posters, they have a lot of templates, so it can make it a lot easier for you. Also, social media. Like Facebook, you can like create Facebook events. If you have a Facebook page for your club, you can create an event and invite people through Facebook, Instagram and Twitter also. And there's also class Facebook pages, so like you can share class 2019, 20, etc. Table tents are also really helpful. It's like you like fold it up on a table. It's like a little piece of paper and fold it, and then it just sits there, so you can see it from like far away on like a table or something. It's really helpful for like advertising. And then swag, like free stuff with the name on it. Bach gives out in the fall for casino night. We give out little mint like containers that say Bach on them. So things like that, like free stuff that gets people to want to come to your events.
And I see a hand in the back.
Yeah, so just a general announcement that the Copy Center does a lot of this stuff for you. So if you want to request a table tent, just put that in the notes section, and they'll know what to do. You just have to fold it yourself, or you can ask them to fold it, but you explain that to them and they'll kind of guide you.
And when we say that you have to post it on Engage, we mean that you can, you all might all have your own personal group pages, like your club pages, and if you all can just create a form, or create an event on that page for your event, it'll just get picked up from there for the chalkboard, for the weekly digest. It's like one central system that feeds information into every other place, so you all don't have to separately email someone for the chalkboard or something else. All you'll have to do is create one event on Engage, and then from there, everything trickles down everywhere else.
And if you need help with Canva or posting in the social media, especially the class Facebook pages, the student engagement assistants all have access to the Facebook pages. We also can help you out on Canva. We all know the software. It is free if you want to make your own account. The benefit of making your own account is you can share it with our account, so that you don't actually have to leave a dorm or leave your room or anything. If you want the feedback or advice, just shoot us an email, c@wheatoncollege.edu. So, planning a semester ahead. This is what PAC does all the time. We planned the spring semester last fall and over break, and we have to plan this coming fall, so fall 2019, by the end of March. So planning a semester ahead really can help out. So you get the time, date, and location for the events. It's never too early to book a space. That's an important fact. The space you want, if you think you want a space for a specific date in the fall, book it now. You'll have that space. Also, the name of the event isn't as important. You can always update the confirmation through Conference and Event Services. They'll send you a confirmation email once everything with the space is confirmed. And if you reply to that email, you can change stuff like number of tables, chairs, etc. If you don't plan ahead, a semester ahead, or at least if Pact didn't plan a semester ahead, a lot of people are quite sad about that because our events would not be as successful. Our events would have a lot lacking to them. So maybe there's not enough space. Maybe there is no space. Maybe there's not enough food. But when you plan a semester ahead, it gets better. It's okay. So yeah, let's talk more about food.
Alright, so food. If you want to have food in an event, so first of all, if you have an event in Emerson, you have to order from Airmark, which is through the school. You cannot bring in like outside food. Like, you can't order pizza or something. You have to get it through Airmark. You can see the menu if you go to wheatoncollege.campusdish.com. They have like a menu of everything you can order, and even some things like late night things. If you ask people, like for example, like mozzarella sticks, even that's like if that's not on the menu, like you can still order. And then it's really important to plan a budget for food, so then you can have, so then you're able to like understand how much, because they base it based on your budget, so you can plan for how much food you're gonna get, that kind of thing, how many people are gonna be there. Make sure to order a couple weeks in advance at least, to make sure like either the place you're ordering from, whether it be Airmark or another place is available, especially if it's a large order. And plus Airmark might take a couple weeks to set up, to confirm and to make sure that everything's correct in your order. So it's pretty important to do it.
Make sure you have enough. One way to get people to your events is free food. That always works. Speaking of free food, there's a reception after the Kiri Shabazz comedy show. Come through. Doors open at 6:30.
And it's free.
And it is free. So, yeah. Using Engage. I'm not going to go over this too much in depth. There is another training session that I believe is either being recorded or has been recorded. Those will be uploaded to a YouTube page for later viewing. But essentially, this is just how you do the form, how you do get it on the calendar, get it on the chalkboards, get it everywhere. So that's just a quick thing. And it's nice to use Engage because it's a one-stop shop. You just do this one thing, it does a lot of things. It's easy.
Alright, and then the planning calendar. Planning calendar is a really good way to see what else is happening on the date that you're looking at. So like, say you look at February 1st and there's like 3 things happening, it might not be the best day to do something else. So it's really good to look at, to see what's happening that day, and like maybe there's one day where nothing's happening, and it would be really good to plan something then. This is an old edition, but yeah. But a lot of club leaders have access to this. If you do not, you can contact Nicole. Will help with that.
A really good resource as well if you don't have access to the planning calendar, obviously go, but if it's more like an event that's already been set for a while, or it's a Wheaton event, there's an app, there's a Wheaton app, there's a calendar on there, use it.
If you come down to the Club Hub as well, we have a big calendar, and that has basically a whole semester's worth of programs already on there. You can see where things fall. You can ask us to check the different sites if you don't know how to, or if you need help to find them. That's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing, but in physical form on the wall. Just right there.
Ooh, make it good time.
So basically, I just wanted to let you all know towards the end that we, as the C's, are there for just this thing. We are there for helping you all through all of your planning events, plannings of your events, and we have been training for a very long time for this. So we are definitely more than well equipped to help you out with almost all your queries, and you all can just hop by at the Club Hub from 10 to 6. We're available on all weekends 10 to 6, and with any queries, any questions. We also have been helping a lot of clubs with a lot of collabs. Just another example for this would be like in the Diwali event itself, we had around 7 or 8 clubs coming together to make that event happen. The thing with collabs is it is a very effective marketing tool, because the minute I ask the base to be a part of the collab, they also start boosting it from their social media. And then if Pact does it, then Pact starts boosting it on their social media, and then it's like we're just creating this buzz with so many people, and we're reaching a larger crowd, really reaching different kinds of people with different interests, and I think that was the goal for our event, and that could be the goal for some of your events as well. So I think it's very important to have those, and we can help you with all the collabs because we have a long list of all the clubs that are on campus. We can kind of direct you to the right direction. We know whom you need to go to if you want to speak about finances and all the other questions that you all may have regarding your event. And I just want to reiterate that it's very important that you all have to go through each and every, like all the events that you all have on campus. You all have to go through us to go through the entire booking, reserving the space process. And at that time, we will also help you with your planning process and just thinking ideas out. So just know that we are there as your resource, and you can come by and ask the same question.
So because we're pretty small and we're making good time, what I'll ask is, do we want to break up into like small groups and kind of do this, or do we want to do this like all together? If there's a preference, let us know. Either way. Any takers? Small groups together.
Yeah, the small groups would just be like 2 groups because there's not all that.
Like 2
We
groups.
can together, because we're so small.
Okay. So yeah, we'll do it together. We could do a few of these actually. We'll do 2 of them. So let's say we'll do a dance. We did food fest in the last one. I want to write this nice job. So we have a dance going on.
So when you're planning a dance, what things would you want to think about?
Given everything we've talked about so far. Yes.
Crowd managers.
If you want, you can call it. But that also makes it backwards every once in a while.
So when and where it is.
Yeah. That would be good. Yeah, last group didn't come
Might
out
be a
with
little
that.
hard.
We get that one in the last group.
Yeah, it's kind of like the most important thing.
This kind of ties into that, but making sure that you have like enough space to incorporate like as many people as possible.
Anybody else?
Hiring a DJ.
Dances tend to be in enclosed spaces, so some people that can't deal with large crowds, maybe having a place aside for them just to come down, or just so they can hear the music from a more spaced out place. Because there's a lot of people that have anxiety. They can just go refresh and then come back to the crowd.
Yes. The other thing is making sure that the room you choose or the location you choose has good acoustics. You would not want to have a dance party in a place where everything's just going to echo and it's like you're not going to enjoy the music at all.
Yes, Mateo with that.
Accessibility.
Yes. What about it?
Well, there's some people that might have a wheelchair or have crutches or something like that, and you'd have to make sure that that space is available for everybody. So like Balfour's done a lot because you also have the elevators.
Yes. But what's one really important thing that we haven't covered yet here? Does anybody know? Yes.
Put it on Engage.
And also is really important.
What's the budget?
That's also good. But can I just
I was gonna say something else. I know it's not what we were looking for. Be careful with fog and strobe lights. There's supposed to be a lot of strobe lights, but be careful with fog because some people can't have fog in dances.
I don't think we allow fun.
Yeah, we don't allow fog. It's not allowed by the fire marshal.
But that's under accessibility too. Anybody else? The most important thing. We have all the details, right? But what haven't you done yet? You have a space,
Book the space. Event and
but who do you
planning.
need to see?
Events and planning.
Yes. Need to
See.
see.
You need a
and-
CSC.
More funds.
Come see us.
Without that, you won't have your space, and all this is boom. So, big point here. Do we want to do another one, or do we want to not do another one? could go either way. You enjoy this
So
activity?
any other questions? Or
Any other-
something?
we have-
Does anyone have any pressing concerns?
Yes.
Yes.
Is the events form and engage different from what we talked with you guys? Like the events form, is it two different things?
So there's one through Engage. The event form through Engage is just making the event on like your group's calendar, and that gets transferred to like all the other things. The event form through Conference and Events is what you need to book the space.
Yeah.
You don't need to see us if you want to do the Engage one, but you have to come see us for the Conference and Events one.
Yeah, the engage one is what you fill out once like you planned everything. Like once the space is done, once you've like gotten everything, then you put it on Engage to advertise.
And it's not a form on Engage, it's more of a creating an event. So you can just go to your page and then there is like a plus icon and then create an event. And that's Engage. There's no form on Engage for creating an event. There is a form only on the website for booking a space.
Okay. For ASA, we have the Lunar New Year event coming up in Feb. So we already got the space,
Yeah.
but we didn't really talk to you guys.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh,
So
so
it's
it's
like
awesome.
starting now.
Yeah,
So
it's like starting from
This
now
one.
on.
because no group knows about this up until like today, and then that news goes out, you know, at some point. Just make sure people know you gotta come see us. The conference and events will most likely deny your space reservation if it hasn't been like approved by a C. Like if you submit it like from now on.
Okay.
So we start next week with work.
I have a
I
question.
just got your email too.
How do you schedule a meeting with the city?
There is a You Can Book Me link that we all have. It's like you can book me your name. You can also come to the Club Hub and talk to any one of us if you think there's a specific C that you want to see. Each of us we're all trained in the same thing, but each of us are better at different things. I'm not great with. Let's say I'm not great at.
You're great at everything.
Oh, thank you. I don't know. I don't have an example.
Like if you want to do like movies, you might want to.
Yeah, you might want to see
Ariana.
Ariana. If you want to do, planning a semester ahead, that might be me or Marcel because we're both in
Yeah.
PAC. And there's Mateo in the back too. Mateo's also a C. Hi Mateo.
And Karen.
How about your email address?
We are c@wheatoncollege.edu. I think I said that earlier. I think.
Yeah, c@wheatoncollege.edu. So if you just want to meet with one of us, if you just email that email and say like, can I meet with a C, then we'll get back to you very quickly with information. If you don't remember any of this, but just remember that.
From
So
what
you
time
have to
to
meet
what
with the
time?
C in person to schedule it, or can you just email?
You can
You can just
email.
email,
You can come to us in person if you just
Yeah,
are
if you
running
really
through
have no idea
Balfour.
like what you want to do for the event, but you just have like a general idea, you can come and meet with us, and we can sit down and plan something. But it doesn't have to.
Yes, Mateo.
From what time to what time are you available?
10 a.m. 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Actually, we have a training on like Friday, so like
So like Monday through Friday minus like
2 hours.
2 to 3
Yeah.
p.m.
Mine is like 1 hour there. So.
Yeah.
We're
But
mostly
for the
around.
most part.
Any other pressing questions before we wrap up? Yes.
I don't know if you have a good answer to this or anything, but a problem my club had with planning some events last year is that we put our events on the calendar, but then some of the bigger groups like the houses and stuff planned stuff on the same day, and we felt like it was like drawing away from potential participants for our events. We couldn't really do anything about it because they were bigger, like more established clubs.
So that will be solved this semester by coming to us before you do an event form to get it like anywhere. We can, push things around. So let's say one Saturday is really busy, but another like has one event. You might want to put it on the Saturday with one event. We're gonna try to make sure that there aren't a whole lot of conflicts, but inherently conflicts happen just because of the house might want to throw down, or there's a really important event that needs to be put down. But we want to try to mitigate that as much as we can ourselves.
And it helps a lot because if there are conflicts and you really want people to show up, that's when advertisement comes along, and you really have to think about creative ways to advertise your event. Because if people are drawn to your advertisement, they're more likely to pass by your event.
And collabs. And I think we will all be, because all of us will have information on all the events that are going on campus. We could like kind of help you with, okay, this group is doing something similar. Do you want to do it together or something like that?
In the back.
Did you guys explain about what happens when you do your thing through Engage, like where it goes out to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, we did that. But you know, again, it goes to the college calendar app, Digest, Wheaton Week, and the chalkboards in Chase, Balfour, and sometimes David Spencer, because there's one there, and Snapchat. I don't know if it's Snapchat. Yes, it's
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The Snapchat and Instagram. If you guys follow the Wheaton College page on Snapchat or Instagram, if you send them an instant message asking them to put a flyer up on Snapchat or something like that, they will definitely do it. Like obviously, if there's no profanities or stuff like that, but they will definitely put it up for you guys, and that's a great way to do it because a lot of people look at their phones all the time.
Make sure to do it with time though, like you can't do it the day of. Make sure to do it with time.
Make sure you got that timeline, you got the planning in advance. And I have a question to pose to all of you, which is, why did we do this, training? You might think, why training? I want to know what you think. Why did you come to this one? What are you interested in learning about? Did we cover everything? Did you have something you wanted to see in a future training? Just because we could do this like informally now. And I'll wrap it up with the next slide is, why did we do this activity? Because we want all of our events to be super successful. This is something that's really sought after for some reason. I don't know why, but that's what you want your events to be. The most sought after thing in gaming. #1 victory royale. Thanks for coming.